we are going to see how inexpensive we can get some of these high-protein vegan meals. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Taylor, co-owner of VeganProteins Online Coaching, and today I am making meal prep using only foods that I got from Aldi's or the dollar store. I wanted to see how inexpensive I can get some high-protein vegan meals. This is all sort of off of the cuff. I went to the store, I saw what they had, I tried to get inspired, and now we're making the meals. If you're looking for ways to level up your physique as a vegan, make sure that you hit the subscribe button because we put out videos every week to help you do just that without any of the fluff. I'm also trying out a different video style this week, so let's see how that goes. All right, here is my grocery store haul from Aldi and the dollar store. I'm going to be making these recipes assuming that you have things like spices, oils, vinegar, stuff like that already on hand. We're gonna be starting making a Thai peanut dish, and I'm going to be using one of the full blocks of tofu I got from Aldi for $1.99, cutting it into cubes, salting it fairly generously, and tossing it in the air fryer at 380 degrees for 25 minutes. While that's cooking, I'm getting a big wok ready with about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm gonna throw in some of these frozen veggies I got from the dollar store for $1.25 each, some peppers and onions, some broccoli, and some peas and carrots, which for some reason were not $1.25, they were 1 cent. Now this is a bit different. I'm throwing in a whole bag of dry roasted edamame. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but I just kind of let it go for a while after I seasoned it a little bit with some salt and covered it. And what I found was I needed to add about 1 cup of water to this, which I didn't film, and that helped the edamame get nice and soft. While that is also cooking, I'm gonna start making my peanut sauce, and I'm using some crunchy peanut butter. I believe this was an 8-ounce jar, and I basically used the whole thing. I'm gonna use some soy sauce. Now, I didn't measure this. I just kept adding and tasting and adding and tasting. Some sriracha. Some garlic powder. Some ginger powder, and then some boiling water just to get it to the right consistency. And then as I was whisking, I would taste it and see what it needed more of. And for me, it needed exactly what I just put in it all over again. So the soy sauce, the sriracha, the spices, the water. And if I was using my regular natural peanut butter, I would probably add something sweet to it, but because this is like a regular kind of generic peanut butter, it already has some sugar in it, so that came out perfect. Now the tofu is done, I'm gonna add it to the wok, as well as my peanut sauce, which I only used half of this whole bowl that I made. So even though I used the whole jar of peanut butter, I only ended up using half of it. Stir it around and just heat it till it's just heated through. And I also cooked up half of that bag of brown rice in the Instant Pot. Took about 12 minutes just with some salt and water. And I could not believe how good this dish came out. Even with only half the peanut sauce, it was so rich and creamy and spicy and salty. It had a little bit of crunch from the peanuts and the peanut butter. So good. All right, now we're gonna move on and make an enchilada pie kind of situation. So I'm using 1 pound of dried pinto beans that I rinsed, added a lot of water, about 6 cups or so, a full tablespoon of salt. Don't worry, we're draining most of this water off afterwards, and set it in the Instant Pot on the bean setting. While that's cooking, this is a bonus recipe here of enchilada sauce. So I'm doing 3 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of oil, heated over medium until it is browned. Then we are adding 3 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of garlic, and 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna whisk all that together. It's gonna get clumpy and dry, and then we're gonna add 2 cups of water, whisking as we pour it in. Let that cook for a few minutes till it starts to thicken, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and 1/2 teaspoon of white vinegar. Voila, homemade enchilada sauce. All right, our beans are done. I'm gonna go drain off about 75% of that water. I wanna leave a little bit of water in there because this is gonna be our refried beans. Again, we're measuring these spices with our heart here. We have onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, and chili powder. Take the immersion blender, go bananas. Now we're gonna use these cool meatless crumbles that I found at Aldi. And they're kind of weird looking. They look a little bit like dog food. Rehydrate with hot water, similar to TVP. It had this seasoning packet, but I only used a little bit of it because I wasn't totally sure what the flavors were gonna be. Adding a whole can of diced tomatoes and chili, mix it up, set it aside. All right, now we're gonna assemble. Salsa at the bottom, corn tortillas, layers of refried beans, the meaty crumbles, and more salsa. And then just repeat until you fill this up. I actually only used about 2/3 of my ingredients, and this made so much food. And then as a very last step, we're topping it with that enchilada sauce we just made, just about a half a cup or so. And then we're popping it in the oven at 400 degrees for 40 minutes. Now this dish came out to be 82 cents per serving. I cut it into 8 servings. Remember, I still had tons of ingredients left over. And it was 480 calories per serving and 26 grams of protein. I'm not saying that the dollar store or Aldi is the cheapest place to get food, but sometimes all you have is $5 or $6 to last you till you get your next paycheck and you gotta make a meal out of it. And if you're trying to build muscle or care about your health, these are really good tricks to have up your sleeve. All right, so we are going to be making a soup here, and this is a little bit different. So I have about 10 cups of water in this pot, and I'm putting a whole can of refried beans in there, and I'm just gonna whisk it together. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the beans are gonna help thicken the broth here because they actually didn't have broth. A full box of this chickpea rotini, a full box of those meatless grounds again, a can of diced tomatoes with the juice, a can of sliced potatoes, I did drain these, the rest of my peas, peppers and onions, and broccoli. And then generously seasoned because like I said, there's no broth in there. And all I added was salt at the beginning. I tasted it towards the end to see what other kinds of seasonings that it needed. And I ended up adding garlic powder and a decent amount of rosemary. And this gave this dish outstanding flavor, and this one came out to be $1.30 per serving, and it made 10 servings that were each 300 calories and 20 grams of protein. So this was our most expensive of our 4 meals here, but it was also the least effort. I basically just dumped everything into a pot and ignored it until it was cooked through. And the last dish we're gonna do is a dessert. This one is another one that I just made up off the top of my head. This is going to be a pineapple cake with tofu ricotta. And again, I'm not saying these are the healthiest meals on earth. Obviously, the dollar store and Aldi is not a health food store, but you know, we make do with what we have. So that was a full box of the cake mix, and I added a half a cup of gluten, a full can of pineapple tidbits with the juice. I wish they had them diced smaller, but they didn't. Half a cup of applesauce, which I got from the dollar store, vanilla that we measure with our hearts, and a cup of water. And I am just gonna use my little blender to blend this together till it's this consistency. Kind of hard to work around the pineapple, but it worked. And I put it in an 8x8 dish that I sprayed with a little cooking spray and put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. While that's going, we're gonna make our tofu ricotta, a full block of this ricotta. This is a 1/4 cup of sugar, vanilla, and about a teaspoon of lemon juice. Now this is extra firm, so even though when I start blending this, it looks like it took me 10 seconds, it took more like 7 minutes. And you just let that food processor go on high until it is as smooth as you can get it. So there's still a tiny bit of grain left to it even when it's fully blended, but I think that's what makes it kind of feel like ricotta. But look how creamy and thick and delicious this looks. I let this cake cool for several hours before I cut it. And this made huge portions of dessert, so you could definitely make these smaller. So it came into 8 cute little triangles. And we definitely had enough ricotta to top all of them. And then as I was plating it, I got this great idea. I had a can of cherries. You don't have to add these, but I really liked what it added to it. Can of cherries, so I added some cherries and some juice to it. And oh my God, this was so delicious. This came out to be 68 cents per serving. And each of these huge servings was 360 calories and 11 grams of protein. Again, not super high protein, but it is a dessert, and it was a super fun way to end the night. 𝐬𝐝 really enjoyed it. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you liked the new filming style. Let me know in the comments down below. If there's any kind of meal prep video you'd like to see, also let us know. And of course, if you are a vegan looking for any kind of fitness or nutrition coaching, that's what we do here at Vegan Proteins. That's what we've been doing since 2008. Definitely check out the links in the description below. If you like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things I'm supposed to tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.